What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the brand new edition of the Chris 2 Cents podcast with Chris Stevens, a writer who's going to talk about his 2 cents with common sense. Greatly appreciate y'all for watching and listening as always. If you're new to this part of town, this is a YouTube channel and a Spreaker show. I invite you to subscribe to both, preferably the Speaker because that's where the money comes from. So there will be a link to that in the description below, as well as all manners of contact information if you want to find me and connect with me on social media. If you want to ask a question about this show, you want to suggest some topics or different things, open, because this is a new world for me. Like tomorrow, tomorrow, Wednesday, today, basically, it's going to be a new world for me because over at my, I can't give it away yet. You'll know. But over at my day job, know that some really good things are happening and that I'll be able to share that with you after we make the official announcement. I don't want to scoop my own boss here because I know my boss, Ken Rashad, actually subscribes to my YouTube channel and watches the videos and gives feedback. And I'm greatly appreciative of him for that because he's trying to help me develop this channel and this podcast to be something greater than what it is right now. And I think it's very hard to put together a show when it's just you. I mean, I don't mind doing shows with other people, but I'm a person that values consistency. And the first time somebody's not able to make something, I'm just like absolutely outdone. Like it's one of my perfectionist quirks, if you will. I'm one of those people that can't stand when somebody says they're going to do something and they don't do it. And that could spill over into my personal, like, Lord have mercy. I got a couple stories about that. Maybe I'll save those for a special edition of the Chris 2 Cents podcast. Shouts out to Shamika Rhymes of Check the Rhyme. She was like, you really need to go ahead and do a newsletter. And I'm like, I don't even know what would be in the newsletter. Because I suggested, I said last week I thought about doing one, but I wasn't exactly sure if what I wanted to put in the newsletter. I mean, obviously, this podcast would be like the center of that, but there's got to be something else, and I don't know what else will go in there. But we'll get to that. But yes, I might just save that for a special edition of the Chris 2 Cents show because Lord have mercy. It's only been 2 instances, but each of them happened in the last couple years that just absolutely just like, I can't and I won't. It's just important to note that certain things just won't fly no matter how much you evolve as a human being, how much you evolve as a person, no matter how much you evolve as someone trying to figure out what it's like to date in 2025 and different things of that nature. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I'll probably, that might be, if I ever do a Patreon, that might be a Patreon only episode, just can't give away all the tea. But thank y'all for watching. This show is going to be multiple topics because there's a lot to talk about. And we're going to start off with the greatest heel turn of the 21st century. If you didn't watch, yes, we're going to talk wrestling on this channel. Finally, for all of you who have seen my previous shows with my guys, Roy Burton and Chris Domingo, yes, we're going to get back to talking wrestling on this channel and this podcast. And yes, after 21 years of hustle, loyalty, and respect, being the most sought after Make-A-Wish spokesperson of all time, like there's nobody that's granted more wishes than this person. John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes after winning the Elimination Chamber match Saturday on the WWE pay-per-view Elimination Chamber. And boy, let me tell you, that came out of left field. That absolutely came out of left field. That was a masterful heel turn by WWE. I have nothing but props and credit due to the bookers and the creative team and the writers because nobody thought it would ever happen. Because, I mean, think about it. This is John Cena's last go-round, as announced, that after 25 years of professional wrestling, that 2025 was going to be his last go-round. He's going to appear at every pay-per-view. He's going to wrestle every pay-per-view. He's going to, have dream opponents coming down the stretch. Like there's going to be a time when he faces Orton. There's going to be a time when he faces CM Punk. It's probably going to be a time where he faces Roman Reigns. It's going to be a blast. So everybody's like, yeah, we just going to go do, 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 one final time. Not so much. So if you missed Elimination Chamber and you don't want any spoilers, I'm giving you the opportunity to cut this podcast off now because I'm definitely about to give you some spoilers. Okay. Now that everybody has clicked off that hasn't seen Elimination Chamber, let's discuss. So, the men's Elimination Chamber. It comes down to Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. And Punk eliminates Rollins. And Punk is absolutely gassed. He's got his head halfway out the ring. If you're familiar with the Elimination Chamber structure, it's a cage around the ring, but it's also got like, borders around it. So Punk has his head like all the way out, like chest, like he's like chest on the ropes. Head is like leaning towards that steel grater. And Seth Rollins hits him with a curb stomp, even though Seth has already been eliminated. And Punk is incapacitated. So Rollins goes on the other side of the cage, and Cena is like, I need to take advantage of this. So he pulls, CM Punk back in, puts him in the STFU, and Punk obviously can't tap out. So, because he's like literally halfway from past, like 2 seconds from passing out anyway. And Rollins is on the other side of the cage yelling, die! Just die! Because they have real life beef. Like, this ain't no WWE beef. This is legit real life heat between this ain't between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. This is between Phil Brooks and Colby Lopez. This is real. This is real life shit. So, Rollins is reveling in the fact that CM Punk is literally just like, and Rollins is like, die. And when the ref realizes that Punk can't, continue, rings the bell, Cena wins the chamber, and that sets up, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and probably Roman Reigns in the triple threat to kind of settle this long, convoluted, nearly 15-year beef between the three of those folks. So, and here comes the Rock's music. If you smell, Rock comes in. And it's not about Cena at this point. It's about Cody Rhodes. I want your soul. It's like, pause. But that's what the Rock said. So Cody comes down to the ring and he talks about how he gave his soul to the wrestling business and the fans a long time ago. And he yelled like for not just everybody in Rogers Center, but for everybody watching around the world to hear. Told the Rock to go fuck himself. And the crowd went bonkers. Cena went bonkers. I was like, well, looks like we're going to have one of these. I respect you. You respect me. Let's just hash it out at WrestleMania main events. So Cena daps up Cody, gives him a hug, and Rock is, Cody's back is turned to Rock. Cena's looking at Rock, and Rock goes, and Cena's face morphed on the spot. That's how you know that Hollywood acting has really, been embedded in him, because his face just turned so fast. And I thought it was like, oh, wow, he still hates Rock in real life, so they're going to fight. Instead, he backs up from Cody, kicks him in the gonads. And everybody's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then, he starts beating the hell out of Cody with a Rolex, busts him open. Travis Scott's dumbass. I don't know why Travis Scott was there, but Travis Scott legitimately apparently hurt Cody. Let me try this again. Travis Scott apparently legitimately hurt Cody Rhodes. Like punched him in the face, gave him a black eye, and maybe busted his eardrum. Like, how the fuck do you bust somebody's eardrum? See, this is why you don't have untrained people in professional wrestling, because they're going to screw it up. And Travis Scott screwed it up. But regardless to say, the real story was John Cena is now a heel. Like, him and The Rock posed side by side with Cena's foot on Cody's neck and holding the WWE Championship belt, which of course belongs to Cody at this point. So, for how long? Who knows? But what I liked about the Cena heel turn, aside from the fact that it was very unexpected, was that it is very American at this point in this country's history. However much history America has left, this feels like another one of those eulogy type things for this country. Because what was more American than a white dude, a Gen Xer from the Boston area, who is cool up to a point, and he's tired of faking. It's like me and Ken Rashad talk about on HBCU Sports all the time. White guilt is over with. Like the guilt that white people had with the George Floyd situation, when you started seeing businesses with black squares and, DEI initiatives and all of that shit. Now that Trump's back in office, they've taken away the DEI initiatives. They're trying to take away everything else. And Cena, I don't know John Cena personally, so I'm not going to put this on him. but I've heard enough stories to know that he's like a legit solid human being. So what better way for him to go out than to play a character that is like the stereotypical Gen X white man that is just tired of pretending like he has to give a shit about other people. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And for him to embrace this, because I mean, this is a dude who literally could have phoned it in because it's his farewell tour. And I have every reason to believe it's his farewell tour because he stopped trying to fill in that bald spot in the back of his head. So I think he's literally done with this after this year. But for him to, he could have mailed it and he could have just coasted on being Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect, Mr. Never Give Up, Mr. I'm going to shake every fan's hand, kiss every baby. He's like, nah, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's get these fans something to remember me by. I mean, yeah, eventually when I make my appearances in the future, sporadically, they'll cheer me again. But for now, let them boo the hell out of me until it's time for me to go. And I respect that. Like, this dude literally said, I'm going to change it up. It may be a little later than people wanted me to change it up, but I'm going to change it up. And that is dope. So very much looking forward to seeing how this road to WrestleMania thing pays out. But it just doesn't get any better than that when you think about it. It's perfect. A white dude, a Gen Xer from West Newbury, Massachusetts, who first made his, really became a face by adopting hip hop culture. He was wearing throwback jersey. Remember, he would spit raps about people. Like, it's like, who is this white dude trying to rap? And then all of a sudden, it just became a part of him. Like, he literally just became a part of the culture. And he stopped rapping after a while, but he was still very much, a person that gave off those tenets of hustle, loyalty, and respect. And it was perfect up to a point. But then the Super Cena thing, people started to get tired of him winning. People thought he was burying people, even though Cena's always done good business. And it's just perfect. This is just perfect. This is the perfect way for him to go out, to him to just say, after all I've done for you people, y'all still treating me like shit. Well, it's time for me to treat y'all like shit. And it's brilliant. And also, very important, Bray was right. Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, Wyndham Lawrence Rotunda, one of the most brilliant minds wrestling has ever seen, and may never see a mind like his again. When they did that Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania during the Performance Center era, because, during the pandemic when we had, a semblance of fear for COVID and different viruses, remember that? That was fun. People actually got to stay in the house and relax. So when WrestleMania, when WWE did WrestleMania in the Performance Center era, they were able to do fun things like the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles, and the Legend Killer match with the wrestling match with Edge and Randy Orton. But the Firefly Funhouse match with Bray and Cena was just absolutely bizarre. But when you look at it, it's perfect storytelling, because Bray is basically saying to Cena, you've been bullshitting as a face for 15 years. And you don't want to be that anymore. You need to lean into the stuff that got you on when you were being a jerk in 2003, 2004, whatever it was. And Cena's doing that now. So, Bray, props to you, my guy. You were right. And it's just absolutely amazing to think that this dude, he died almost 2 years ago, and his wrestling mind is still feeding WWE. Because I'm very much looking forward to when the Wyatt Six comes back, when Bo Dallas, his younger brother's off of injured reserve. And of course, now we got Alexa Bliss back, and she's still doing the whole Harley Quinn type deal, but a little more in line with who she was when she was dealing with Bray on the screen, I should say. They weren't like dating or anything. When they were like intertwined characters. So very much looking forward to Wyatt Six coming back with Alexa Bliss and Uncle Howdy, leading that team full time. Very much looking forward to that. But Bray was right. Cena had to let go of whatever he thought he wanted to be and start to be who he really wanted to be. And that's how we got here. The greatest heel turn of the 21st century. I won't go as far as to say it's the greatest heel turn ever, because I still think, as much as we hate Hulk Hogan, black people, I should say, as much as black people, this black man included, hates Hulk Hogan, Him turning on Sting and Lex Luger at Bash at the Beach in July of 1996 and forming the NWO is still the greatest heel turn of all time because nobody saw that shit coming. Nobody. I mean, people have been begging Cena to turn heel for years. And it was like finally. It was like, whew, now we can all breathe. Cena's a heel again. Thank you, Lord. But Hogan turning heel was just like, did that really just happen? Did I really just see that? And knowing what we know about Terry Bollea now, he really wasn't acting. He's always been a heel. Same dude who dimed out Jesse Ventura when Jesse was trying to form a wrestlers union. So there's no doubt in my mind that Hulk Hogan was also faking the face act as well. And also this is the same dude who alleged that the Undertaker hurt him at Survivor Series in 1991, and that stopped Taker's momentum for a minute. Like Hogan was like, "Oh, you got me, brother." It was like, going back and looking at that match, Hogan's head never hit the mat or the chair on that tombstone because if you get real quick, Survivor Series 1991, Undertaker's first title shot. It's him versus Hogan. Hogan is the champion, obviously. And Ric Flair is just joining WWF for the first time. Well, actually, the first time in the modern sense. He wrestled WWF when they had territory exchanges in the mid-70s or whatever. But this is when Ric Flair left WCW to come to WWF the first time in late 1991. And Taker is this Mark Calloway now, now that he's good and retired and got a podcast now where he does really funny impressions. His Iron Sheik impression is funny as hell and very accurate. But yes, The Undertaker, this young dead person, this 6'10", 315-pound zombie is facing off against the 6'6", 280-pound hero from Venice Beach, California, who's still wearing his red and yellow tights. And Taker gets Hogan up in a position for the tombstone. You're not familiar with the tombstone pile driver. It's the inverse of a regular pile driver. Regular pile driver is when the person's head is between the person's knees, lift them up, bam, drop them backwards. Tombstone is the other way around. The head is facing out towards the mat. So it's kind of like a standing 69. I'm sorry, it just is. Pause that if you need to. But so Taker's got Hogan up in the tombstone position. And Ric Flair, of course, he's going to cost Hulk Hogan the championship because he's the heel. He's the dirtiest player in the game. So Flair slides a metal chair right where Taker's knees are. And Taker does the tombstone. And of course, with the tombstone, the person's head is not supposed to drop the mat because their head is tucked between the knees. So Taker executes that tombstone perfectly, but Hogan, because you can't pick it up on the mic because they're really good at talking and calling matches silently. So Hogan says, "Oh, you got me, brother. Somebody call my wife and kids." And Taker's, like, "Yo, I heard Hulk Hogan. I'm done." So Taker goes back and looks at tape and sees that Hogan's head never touched the mat. Barely even touched his knees, for crying out loud. So that was the safest tombstone Taker probably ever applied to anybody. And Taker confronts him about it. Hogan says, "Oh, you didn't give me enough time to adjust." How the fuck were you going to adjust, dude? You were in a tombstone. Nobody got up from the tombstone, with the exception of Kane. And Shawn Michaels a couple of times during that first WrestleMania match between them. That was probably the greatest wrestling match of all time. That first Taker-Shawn match. But anyway, so Hulk Hogan's always been a terrible person. That's the bottom line. But yeah, he played a very good face for 12, 13 years. Then he goes to WCW and starts the NWO with Nash and Hall and becomes who he was always destined to be, which is a backstage politician. It just came out front now. So it's incredible. I mean, Cena's heel turn, while it's great, I still think Hogan's is better because Hogan had more people fooled. And I'm not saying John Cena has anybody fooled. Like I said, I think John Cena is a legitimately good human being, but he just played a good human being on camera for too long for most people's taste. And for him to finally now say, "All right, I'm going to be the bad guy," and people eating it up is just, it's perfect. It's sensational. I don't know what else you could ask for, but, credit to John Cena for actually taking that risk. Of course, credit to Rock, the final boss. I don't know if Rock is winded or he thinks he has sort of like a Caribbean lineage now. But every time I hear him talk now in a wrestling aspect, it seems like he's trying out accents or something. It's just real strange to me. It just doesn't sound like the same. I mean, I guess this is the heel Dwayne, the heel Rock, the heel final boss or whatever, but it just feels really strange. But it works. It works because we've established that Cena is going to sell out to get that 17th World Championship reign to pass Ric Flair for the most all time. We've established that The Rock is now the authority. And now we've established that Cody Rhodes is a generational face, just like his dad, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. It's perfect. It's absolutely sensational. And I'm glad they did it. Because I was not expecting it. Like I said, I was like, all right, man, we just going to get this same old, they respect each other, but let's have a good match and all of that stuff. But no, Cena said, nah, I'm gonna switch it up on y'all. Perfect. Love it. And I'm just very much looking forward to this road to WrestleMania. There's so much to like. I mean, you've got Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. No. We got versus Io Sky now. Or maybe it'll be a triple threat. Rhea versus Io versus Bianca for the Women's World Championship. Because I was really shocked when they pulled that trigger Monday night. Okay. Spoiler. If you didn't watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix, click off now. So yes, Io Sky defeated Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship Monday night. So now they're pivoting to Rhea versus to Io versus Bianca, but Rhea's probably going to jump back in this as the heel, so you can expect that. So that'll be a triple threat. There's Jey Uso versus Gunther, who's really leaning into the racism in this title run. So Jey is the underdog, the Samoan underdog with black undertones, and Gunther is the Eastern European, Western European heel. That's just like real. Well, actually, is Austria or Germany somewhere? Well, it's European heel. We'll just say a European heel. And Gunther's really leaning into that European heel, that old Nikita Koloff, Boris Zukov, Nikolai Volkov, Ivan Koloff type shit. He's good at it. So that's going to be fun. Rhodes versus Cena, obviously. We've already discussed that. There's so much to like about this road to WrestleMania. So if you're a wrestling fan, you're definitely going to enjoy this. You're absolutely going to enjoy this. And just, I'm excited. I mean, I've been watching wrestling since 1988. It's a long time. It's a very long time. Back when there were different territories, back when you could watch the AWA and World Class Championship Wrestling on ESPN, then watch Primetime Wrestling and Primetime Wrestling and Super on USA, Superstars and All American Wrestling and Wrestling Challenge on Fox, because that was what our local Fox affiliate carried on Saturdays and Sundays, was Superstars and Wrestling Challenge. And then of course you had NWA Power Hour and Saturday night on TBS for World Championship Wrestling. So it's been the time, man. It's always been, wrestling has always been a part of my life, and it's something that I've enjoyed watching. And I very much am hopeful that this Cena heel turn just continues to go off great, and this final run is the best for him, because I mean, as much like him or not, he's been a constant in this business for generations now. I mean, Undertaker was still wrestling when he was around. Hogan was still wrestling when he was around. Flair was still wrestling when he was around. Stone Cold Steve Austin was still in the mix, little part-time a little bit when Cena first got on. He's been through Kurt Angle. He's been through Shawn Michaels. He's been through Triple H. He's been side by side with Randy Orton, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Cena he's the bridge. He is the bridge from the Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression to whatever you want to call this era of wrestling now. He's been through it all. And he deserves to go out on his terms and his way. And he's doing it the right way. He's giving people something different, something new, something fresh, right up to the end. And you got to respect it. I said this was going to be a multiple topic show. I changed my mind. I might end up doing like a separate show about something that I want to really talk about. That might be a shorter version. But yeah, this version was definitely about John Cena's heel turn. I'm glad it turned out that way, because you guys can watch this and, give me your thoughts. If you're a wrestling fan, and I hope you are, you tune into this. What do you think about John Cena's heel turn? Give me your 2 cents in the comments if on YouTube. And that's my 2 cents for this episode. So thank y'all for watching and listening to the Chris 2 Cents podcast. Greatly appreciate your time as always. Once again, contact information will be in the description, in the bio, and all of that. Be sure to Subscribe to this on YouTube. Subscribe to this on Spreaker. Listen, watch, comment, like, share, all of that. Because this grows with y'all's help. And with y'all's help, this can really be great. So thank y'all for watching. Until the next time we speak, y'all be good or be good at it.